Blueberries rank among the highest foods in antioxidant capacity, with ORC scores that genuinely impress. They're loaded with anthocyanins, the blue-purple pigments responsible for their color, plus vitamins C and K, manganese, and fiber. Research has linked blueberry consumption to improved cognitive function, cardiovascular health, and reduced inflammation. They're justifiably popular as a health food. However, blueberry contamination presents a geographically complex picture. Domestic blueberries from the United States and Canada generally show lower pesticide residue levels and are subject to stricter regulatory oversight. Imported blueberries, particularly from Chile and other South American sources that supply North American markets during winter months, can contain pesticide residues from chemicals that face restrictions in domestic production. The small size and delicate skin of blueberries create practical challenges. Thorough washing without damaging the fruit is difficult. You can't scrub blueberries vigorously, and their small size means you'd need to handle each berry individually for truly thorough cleaning, which is impractical. When you eat a serving of blueberries, you're consuming many individual fruits, multiplying your exposure with each berry. The long growing season for blueberries, particularly for varieties that fruit over extended periods, means potential for multiple pest management interventions. Blueberry maggot, spotted wing Drosophila, and various fungal diseases require chemical control in conventional production. The pest pressures vary by region and climate, affecting the specific pesticides used and application timing. Frozen versus fresh blueberries present different scenarios. Commercially frozen blueberries may have lower residue levels if proper washing protocols were followed during processing. However, this isn't guaranteed, and testing would be needed to confirm. Frozen berries do offer year-round availability at often lower cost than fresh, making organic frozen blueberries a practical option for regular consumption. Wild blueberries represent a significantly different risk profile than cultivated berries. True wild blueberries, smaller and more intensely flavored than commercial varieties, grow without deliberate pesticide application if they're genuinely wild harvested. However, wild on packaging doesn't always mean wild harvested. It often refers to a specific species grown commercially. Reading labels carefully and understanding sourcing helps distinguish truly wild harvested from commercially grown wild-type berries. The month-by-month sourcing guide matters significantly with blueberries. From roughly May through September, North American blueberries dominate markets. These domestic berries generally present lower contamination risk than imports. From October through April, most fresh blueberries come from South America, primarily Chile, and these show higher and more variable pesticide residue profiles. For practical decision-making, timing purchases strategically makes sense. During domestic blueberry season, fresh organic blueberries are often reasonably priced, sometimes just 30 to 50% more than conventional. Buying extra during this window and freezing them provides safe blueberries year-round. Blueberries freeze exceptionally well. Just spread them in a single layer on a baking sheet, freeze until solid, then transfer to containers for out-of-season consumption. Organic frozen blueberries offer better value and potentially better safety profiles than fresh imported berries. Many stores stock organic frozen blueberries at competitive prices year-round. Pediatric exposure guidelines deserve particular attention because children consume substantial quantities of blueberries relative to their body weight. Blueberries are a common finger food for toddlers and popular in children's smoothies and baked goods. The combination of small body size, developing systems, and high consumption makes children particularly vulnerable to pesticide exposure from contaminated blueberries. Baking with blueberries raises interesting questions about heat's effect on residues. Some pesticides break down at high temperatures, potentially reducing exposure in baked goods like muffins. However, heat-stable pesticides remain, and you shouldn't rely on baking as a contamination reduction strategy. The bottom line is that blueberries offer exceptional nutritional benefits, but geographic sourcing significantly affects contamination risk. Domestic organic blueberries during peak season provide the optimal combination of nutrition, flavor, and safety. Frozen organic blueberries offer year-round access at reasonable cost. For frequent blueberry consumers, particularly families with young children, the organic investment is clearly justified given the high consumption levels and children's vulnerability.